Brian said, how do I introduce you? I just call you one of the OGs. That'll work. That talk that Albright just did, he came off the stage. He said, how was that? I said, that's what got me fired up 30 years ago when I met you. That is why Heather and I moved from Burlington, North Carolina to Dallas, Texas, when we didn't know nothing about insurance, to start building. But look, 6 months in, see, I got started in insurance same time Albright did with the mortgage protection. That's why I got my license. 6 months in, Albright's running $500,000 a month in premium. He couldn't have done it without me because my 20 pushed him over. If he hadn't had me, he'd have done 480. I'm just saying, I've been integral since the beginning. But I reached out to him. I said, dude, I don't know how you're getting everything done. He said, I don't know what to tell you. Read a book. So, not kidding. Some of you guys will like really buckle down and work with your agent. He had me read a book. And then he worked with me. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, getting it all done. I had a friend a few years ago that got sober. And he came to me and he said, I feel like I'm supposed to do something with this. What do I do with this? I said, help other people get sober. Because you came through it. Now this is what that's your ministry, it's your mission, it's what you're put on earth to do. That's why you're here. Well, I didn't go through sobriety. I learned how to manage my time. That was my drug of choice, was poor time management. And so now I feel obligated to teach about it. So here we go. Look, if you're in the room right now or watching this later on video, learn the art of screenshots. Take pictures of these slides. Don't send me an email. Can you send me the PowerPoint? No. Just do the work. Don't worry about the PowerPoint. Let me ask you a question. First, do you feel like you're flying by the seat of your pants? Yeah. What does that fit? That's like everything's coming at you 1,000 miles an hour and you have no system or method to process getting everything done at one time. You just feel so overwhelmed and you're just kind of going to bed at night going, I did what I could. What'd you do? I don't know. That's flying by the seat of your pants. Next question. When you are with your family, do you feel guilty that you aren't working? Oh. Okay. It's okay. Listen, confession is good for the soul. That's what my sober buddy said. You got to first admit you got a problem. Okay? Step 1. I don't remember the other 11 steps, but that's the first one. All right? Here's the other one. When you are working, do you feel guilty that you aren't with your family? If you said yes to any or all of those, you have a time management issue in your life. That's where I was when I went to Andy. I said, I don't know how you built 500,000 in 6 months, and I built 20. I don't know how you're getting everything done. He said, read a book. This is it. Getting things done, the art of stress-free productivity. Does stress-free productivity sound good to anybody? Yeah. I'm productive and stress-free about it. Yeah. I kick butt. Whew, almost slipped there. They like told me not to say stuff. You kick butt and you're not stressed about it. Good book. Not giving you a book report. It's in the store. I heard TSA, they may even give some discounts on some of these references I'm giving you. So, it's in the store. Next book, Think and Grow Rich. Albright just talked about Think and Grow Rich. This book is magical. This is not a book you read. This is a book you study. This is on my list of books I read every year. Because every time I read it, I'm a different person. And I'm not going to tell you all about Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie and all that. I'm just going to give you some time management concepts, some thoughts that Napoleon Hill wrote in this book. There is a cumulative value to investing small amounts of time in certain activities over a long period of time. Look, I copied this directly from his book. This is not my thought, but my thought was the example, working out. I remember Zig Ziglar used to say all the time, if you walk briskly 30 minutes a day, every day, you will live a longer, healthier life. Zig Ziglar said it. I Googled it. Turns out it's true according to Dr. Google. So, there's a cumulative value to that. There are rarely any immediate consequences to neglecting single installments of time in any arena of life. An example, if you skip a workout, not a big deal. It's not a big deal, guys, if you skip a workout. It's not. But neglect has a cumulative effect. So if you skip working out for, say, a decade, I'll never forget being on an F&G trip in Arizona, and a buddy of mine walked by. I'm lounging by the pool, reading my book. He said, man, that insurance gut is coming in nice. I said, Well, what'd Coach say? If you can't listen to your family, it's not family. It pissed me off, but I did something about it. I'm not saying I'm perfect at that either. Neglect has a cumulative effect. There is no cumulative value to the urgent things we allow to interfere with our important things. So you're making dials, but your kid comes up and says, Daddy, look at my dolly. Listen, I believe giving time to your kids is important, but not during your dial time. That's an important thing. It's not an urgent thing. I'm building here, okay? I'm building some stuff. Here's the last point on this from Napoleon Hill. We're all given equal opportunity, 24 hours in a day. You ever, sorry, dang. They're getting all feisty out there. You no way. I did. I like that. I'm not offended. Just feel a little microaggression. I need a safe space. Anybody in here first generation American and you're making it happen? Yeah. I've met a lot of friends that are they're the first ones here, right? Their parents may have moved here. They were the first ones born here. Have you met any of them that made $1 billion? Like they're billionaires? Like have you met anybody like that? And you go, how did they do that? I mean, I was born here. My family's been here a long time. We were poor, but we were here. They were poor in a worse situation. Different levels of poor, but they made it happen. It always drives me a little crazy. Why can't I do more? I got the same amount of time in a day. They just use their time different. First things first, Stephen Covey. If anybody is going to talk to you about time management and they don't talk about this book, don't listen to them. They're giving you terrible advice. Also in the store. So in the book, majority of the book goes through these 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, things that are urgent and important. Quadrant 2, they're not urgent, but they are important. Quadrant 3, not important. What happened to the red? I feel like I'm pushing green. As Salt and Pepper said, I'm pushing it real good. You get it, all right? Dun, 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 dun. Did anybody else just start singing that song? Yo, 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 baby pop. Yeah, you come here, give me a kiss. Better make it fast or else I'm going to get. Anyway. Evidence of a misspent youth. I'm just saying. Quadrant 1, these are crises, pressing problems, deadline-driven projects, meetings, preparations. I call these heart attacks. Quadrant 1's a heart attack. You better drop everything and take care of that. Your kid's choking on something. Anybody got kids? They always choke on something, don't they? Like you need to know first aid and get that stuff out of there. They're going to die. That's urgent and important. Phone calls are not more important than that. Take care of your dying kid, okay? Quadrant 2, preparation. Now, we finished with preparations in quadrant 1, but immediately went to preparation in quadrant 2. This is Stephen Covey. You find this in his book. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm giving you a book report. But why is preparation in both? I'll tell you. Heather and I met at 19 at University of North Carolina of National Champs, where I'm at Chapel Hill. That's what it is. I mouthed the words Wolfpack, but I didn't actually say them. I'm like, I'm respectful of my bro, but I can't say it. When we were there, I was somebody who would take No-Dos and 6-pack of Jolt, and I'd stay up all night and write a 50-page paper. Right? But if you ask me, do you want to, Fitz? I didn't ask what it was we were going to be doing. I just said yes. Do you want it? Yep. Okay, I met Heather our sophomore year. I'm not saying she was a library nerd, but she studied all semester. So when it came time for the final, she'd get a nice, go to bed at 8 p.m., get up in the morning, have a nice breakfast. 12 hours later, now she's taking her exam all rested. And she made better grades than me, but we both graduated in the same amount of time with the same piece of paper from the same university. There's two ways of skinning that cat. I had more fun in college, I promise you. Her GPA was way better. Do the math on this. I had a 3.8 in my major, but graduated with a 2.8. Wait, it wasn't good. So that's the difference. She was preparing all semester. I was preparing the night before. Other things that Stephen Covey says: prevention, values clarification, planning, relationship building, empowerment, inspecting what you expect. If number 1 is a heart attack, number 2 is eat some broccoli. Right? If number 1 is your kid is choking on food, number 2 is cut smaller bites. Prepare ahead of time so they're not going to choke on that food and you don't have the quadrant 1 issues. Now, I hate to even talk about quadrant 3 and 4 because by very definition, they're not important. And I only got 40 minutes. So I don't really want to talk about them that much. He said interruptions, some phone calls, some mail, some reports, some meetings, many proximate pressing matters, many popular activities. I love the Cowboys. God bless me. It's a burden we have to carry. I grew up here in Burlington surrounded by Redskins fans at the time, and I was a Cowboys fan. It's just, I'm sorry too. We had a good run 30 years ago, okay? Quadrant 3 is somebody calls you up and says, hey, it's a noon game, Sunday, 50-yard line tickets. It's 11 o'clock on Sunday. Did you want to go to the game? Unless you are a member of the team, it is not important that you're at that game. Sorry, Eagles fans, the Eagles will still lose without you there. I don't even care. I just had to take a jab. Okay. Quadrant 4, trivia, busy work, some phone calls, time wasters, escape activities, irrelevant mail, excessive TV, social media, YouTubes. I loved how, who was it? Oh, Mathis. The Facebook, the YouTubes. We're not that much different in age, but you sounded really old, bro. I swear my kids, 17, 15, and 12, would call you a boomer. I have to explain to them we're part of the greatest generation. That'd be X. All right. That's the 4 quadrants. Okay? So, I built to it. Now we're going somewhere, right? You need to build your schedule in blocks of time. This is not your calendar I'm going to show you. Your calendar is where you actually have appointments. Your schedule is where you block off what you're doing in that allotted time. This is something, by the way, I do every 90 days still. I feel like I am fully on top of time management, and yet, if you don't stay on top of it, you now have a problem again. You got sober, but you just had a little drink. Now you got a problem again, right? You got to stay on it. You got to pay attention to it. You have to be diligent. So, this looks all pretty. I remember one time Stephen Davey was doing a presentation about this, and he said, I don't care how pretty your schedule is. If you're not going to do it, it doesn't matter. I made this pretty because I was doing a presentation. Okay? You can just throw, this is literally, I talk to people all the time about time management. Take your Office Depot legal pad, turn it on the side, and write Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday across the top, and the times down the side. Just as good. Okay, now, first thing, if you are working a full-time job, I recommend you block off that time on your schedule. No, I was talking to the compliance people at Integrity the other day, and they were trying to tell me that since we're commissioned, we can't really say we make this much money. And I said, well, did you go to work for Integrity for free? Or did they entice you with some money? They said, no, they told us how much we were getting paid. Okay, but you're not guaranteed that pay, are you? Oh, yeah, we're hourly and we're salary and blah, blah, blah. I was like, If you don't show up for work, they ain't paying you, Jack. Anyway, I know this. I employ people, and there was times people didn't show up, and I fired them. They pay you after you do the 2 weeks, right? They don't pay you in advance. Anyway, I digress. I love our government. So, you block off when you're working. Because I'm just a big believer, how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you're going to cheat your boss, you're going to cheat your wife. A cheater's a cheater. I don't care what you're cheating at. Make sense? That's how I feel about it. So, Melissa Bruno does contracting in our office. She's a licensed agent. You know when she studied for her license and took the test? On her own time. Because I wasn't paying her at the office to get her license. Okay, block that off first. I'm doing this as if you're a full-time agent. So the first thing you got to do is block off your education. It's dangerous not knowing things. It's dangerous being an idiot. And my oldest is about to go off to college in a couple weeks. He's going to Texas A&M business school. And gig 'em. That's right. I'm learning all the cult stuff they go through. Because it's a dang cult there, I'm just telling you. But it's a good one. It's like a good one. So I said, his mom was talking to him, and she told me this story. So Heather told me this story. Heather said, yeah, I was talking to Joe the other day, and I said, do you feel ready to launch? Do you feel ready to leave? Like, what do you think is going to propel you into life? And he said, I cannot stand stupid people. She said, I wanted you to know that because that's something I say verbatim daily. And sometimes I'm talking about myself. See, ignorance when you don't know something. Stupid's when you know something and you do it wrong anyway. So Diane's working with me on my self-talk and how I affirm myself, but I call myself stupid a lot. That was stupid. Anybody else do that? Yeah. Like, that was stupid. God bless you. I'm trying to be nicer about it now. Like, okay. So, but you got to block off those Are there more times for education? Yeah. But listen, if you put 40 hours of education in your schedule, you're a student. And students are broke. I'm just saying. Don't be mad at me. You don't know stuff, but you got to learn it. But you can't spend all your time learning it and doing nothing. As you're building your schedule, what you spend most of your time doing is what you're going to become. If your week is personal production, you're a personal producer. There's nothing wrong with that. If we don't sell anything, nobody makes anything. That's the foundation of it all. But if you want more, like being a business owner or an investor, you have to spend time in your week doing that. I figured out how to build my schedule so that I was personally producing because I needed to make money. We were poor. Even with Heather's job, we still were under poverty. Like, it was not good. And so I personally produced because I had to. But I figured out how to get really good at it so I could only do it just a short amount of time and spend the rest of the week building. That's why it took me so little time to get to a place where we were making so much money without me selling. It started costing me money to sell. But it was a sprint. Some of you guys are in a freaking marathon of personal production. Oh, I'm going to get on a soapbox here for a second. What you've done is you've allowed your personal production to up your lifestyle, and now you have to work your tail off all week just to meet that bill. You got no time for anything else. Your family doesn't know who you are. Your kids don't know who you are. Your business doesn't know who you are. You got a time management problem, and I'm telling you. Now, some people are like, bump that. I just want to be a personal producer. I'm with you, man. You do you, boo-boo. But I'm saying if you want to be a builder, you got to block it in there. Okay. Back off the soapbox. People don't like to be yelled at, Fitz. I know, I'm stupid. Activity book, also in the store. I literally went online and took a screenshot of it on the store, in the store, and used that on the PowerPoint. It's right there, activity book. From your activity book, you're going to track your numbers. And based on your numbers, you're going to figure out how much work you need to do. Okay? So, I'm going to give you some math. Don't worry, in a minute you can take a picture of the whole thing. Follow the math just for a second. I'll give you a second to take a picture of the math. Income goal monthly, $5,000. Okay? Divide that by your 55% commission level, or fill in the blank commission level, whatever yours is. And people go, yeah, but you didn't take into account that I sell this kind of product, and that has this payout, and this kind of product has this other payout. Dude, you're wearing me out. If you're on a 75, keep it conservative and say 55. Whew, you just solved a lot of headache, I promise you. You're working too hard on stuff that doesn't pay. Okay, now you're going to divide that by your placement. Don't have time for a university talk right now, but placement is how much of your business gets issued and placed, accepted by the client. My placement is better than that, Fitz. That's great. Blank for your use is the column for you. That's your column. That's where you make a different math, okay? So when you take a picture, you're going to have it perfectly laid out. This is how the example, this is mine. Okay, mine's way worse than that, Fitz. Get it better because they'll fire you. Okay. Divide that by your advance of 75%. You need to submit $16,000. Now, Jeff Bright's going to talk about the animals this weekend. Anybody else in here a beaver? That you already know you're beaver? I'm lion, beaver, 50-50. I love the math. And then just freaking do it. Okay, so I'm kind of both. So, divide by average case of $960. Your activity book, because you're tracking activity, will tell you what your average application is. But that means you need to submit 17 applications a month. Follow me? Multiply that by how many dials per application it takes you. Now, if you want to know, this 35 is a number that I know in the Fitz group, okay? If you want to know, don't build your business based on my averages, build them based on yours. So track it. How many dials am I averaging per application that I'm writing? Track your dials per week. How many applications you wrote? Simple division. This is not, this. You mastered this stuff by like second grade. I did second grade, and I grew up in North Carolina. Listen, number 48 of 50, that ain't bad school system. I'm just saying. Thank you, Mississippi. Otherwise, it would be 49. So, now you multiply that by 12 months, divide it by 52 weeks. I like to use 4.3 weeks, Fitz. Okay, I'm showing you my math. I think it's a little more exact. And then that equals the number of dials per week. Divide that by 30 dials per hour. If you're making 30 dials an hour, you are slow. I mean slow. Oh, good Lord. Did you know, by the way, now with Integrity Lead Center, you can combine that with a phone burner. It can dial for you. I don't even know how fast it can dial. Way more than 30 dials an hour. That's 4 hours and 36 minutes of dials. I just figured out your block of time for dialing. Okay? Dials per week divided by dials per appointment. 138 dials per week. I know the Fitz group average is 13 dials per appointment set. So 138 divided by 13 equals 11 appointments booked. If you're slow at appointments, we're going to say you're taking 2 hours an appointment. That's 22 hours. Well, Fitz, I believe in taking 4 hours per appointment, and my placement and persistency is way better. I was out of the home in 45 minutes. I had 84% of my business on the books 13 months later. Get you some of that. Get better. Get better, right? Get better so you have more time for other things that could potentially be more important. I saw you taking pictures. That's good. That's the end. You see it's at the end because there's no more room at the bottom of the page. Can't see it. Can we throw it up there? Yeah, stand up. Get on your chair. Act like you want this information, man. Maybe I want to be in the way. That could be my profile pic in your phone. All right, moving on. Watch the video later. Nope, I got to go. Okay, one more second. They're going to put all these videos out. Right, Robbie? Robbie Kraft has said they're putting all the videos out. He is doing the editing himself. You're welcome, Amp. You're welcome. All right. So look, you blocked it off in your schedule. There's my phone time. There's my personal production appointment time. Now, if you're looking at that, if you're really OCD, and I am a bit, then you're going to go, there's more phone time than you said, Fitz. I know. I just need you to know that I know what I put up there is more than what I told you needed to do based on that math. You follow me? So now back to the activity book. You're going to track your building numbers in the activity book as well. Here's some math on that. These are averages I know to be true. But I don't build your business based on the numbers I'm showing you. Build your business based on your averages. Contracts per month. You want to contract 10 people a month. Fitz, I want to do 25. You haven't done 3 in a month yet. Recruiting leaderboards these days depress me. Like back in our day, when we were, the company was exploding, you didn't get mentioned if you didn't personally recruit 40 in a month. My personal best recruiting personal month of licensed agents, not fast tracks, not I talked to my neighbor, licensed agents, 101 paper contracts came in on my fax machine. So then people start pounding their chest. I'm like, I got 3 this month. Oh my God. This is a hobby for you. Get to work. Contracts per month divided by the percentage of fast tracks that you contract. I contract 1/3 of the people that I fast track. There you go. That means you need 31 fast tracks per month. Divided by the number of sits that fast track. Of the people you meet with, how many of those give you the basic background onboarding information for fast tracking? I'm teachable. 50%. So that's 62 sits. That's 62 interviews you need to do per month. Divide that by the number of interviews that actually sit. You booked a bunch of interviews, but 50% show. I understand in corporate America the numbers aren't far off from that. And we're pretty much a sure thing. Dude, show up, I'll hire you. Just don't have a felony. It's simple. So you need 124 interviews booked per month. On a weekly basis, that's 29 interviews per week. That's the end. You can tell it's the bottom of the page. I'm about to go Beastie Boys on this. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. When I'm on the mic, I can't finish that. Okay. Watch the video later. I got to go. All right. Continue. So now, look, you put all your interviews in there. Diane Lampy gets her interviews done in 15-minute intervals. I like doing 30 minutes because maybe I really like that person. I want to talk to him a little bit longer. I do the interview. Well, you see, it's like there's an interview at 8:30 and then 9:30 and then 10:30, and there's a gap in between there, a 30-minute gap. You feel that with coaching. You can shift this up if you like. But one of the things I really like to do, I'm doing this. I don't do cold market recruiting in our office. I do warm market. I get lists of names and I recruit from that. Still. And so I'm an integrity partner, and I'm still getting a list of names and working it because this business is not that complicated, y'all. And so what I like having is an interview and then a coaching conversation because first impressions matter. I don't want to be late for an interview. But if the coaching conversation jumps on, maybe I can let them listen in to the end of the interview because God knows they probably need to hear it. It's okay. Does that make sense? So we just roll on. Okay? Now fill in the gaps. I marked off Sunday as free time. I marked off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 to 9 as free time. I marked off Thursday free time. Let's see how I can say this. When I say I'm in 24/7, what I mean is my chips are at the center of the table. I'm putting all my bet into the middle of the table. I'm in 100%. But I also like a nap. So I'm a literal person, and I can't honestly say I'm going to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because I'm literal, I can't say that. I just can't. but I am all in. Make sense? See the difference? I used to hear when I was a kid people saying dumb stuff like, I'd rather wear out than rust out. Why does it have to be either or? I remember seeing Andy throw down a $100 bill and a $20 bill, and he said, which one do you want? I was one of the few that grabbed both. He didn't say I couldn't have both. I've seen most people would take the $100 bill. That makes sense. I got 20% more money than you. He didn't say give it back. Okay. I think you don't. I worked in textile mills, Glen Raven Mills. I worked there in high school and college in the summers. And I can tell you with preventive maintenance, you don't have to wear out or rust out. You can just keep on chugging along until one day you're done. Does that make sense? So I do believe proper maintenance. I also believe, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? I'll cry on this one. Because it did not matter to me how much money I made if I lost my family in the process. It's my soul. It's right here. It's everything to me. I'll kill you over my wife. I'm not saying I will defend her. I'm saying I will kill you. There's a difference. One's offense, one's defense. I will go offense on your ass over my kids. And I actually had my 8-year-old son one time, he was playing a soccer game. Parents are stupid. So many of them. He's now 15, but when he was 8, he was playing this soccer game, and some parent on the other team was yelling at him and saying, I didn't hear it. Because I sit as far away from the other parents as I can. Because I will punch somebody. I don't want to be in the news for that. But we got in the car, go home, he burst out in tears. And he said, Dad, did you hear that other dad saying that stuff to me? I said, what did he say? He started telling me. I said, where is he? He said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to explain to him how speaking to an 8-year-old in such a manner is not appropriate. And I will say it in such a way that he freaking gets it. My son was like, no, Dad. Like, don't do that. Okay. You say no, I won't do it. And Heather's looking at me going, we're about to go to jail. Like, what are you? Don't talk to my son like that. Okay? You got to have that free time in there. Otherwise, your family doesn't know who you are. You lose them. Not worth it. Not worth it. I was so close to losing them. Thank God I realized what was going on. And I stopped that pattern. I went back to my schedule. I said, there's got to be a way I can get it all done and not lose my family in the process. Now, I do all this for them. Yeah. My brother was asking my oldest, he was like, hey, how many of the kids in your school have to pay for their own school? Like, are paying for their own school? And Joseph was like, none of them. Like, nobody I graduated with is paying for their own school. My brother was talking about scholarships. I said, wait a second, son. I'm paying for your school. He said, oh, is that what you meant? Like, I'm not having to pay for it, is what he said. That's because I did that. And this dude applied to universities and scholarships. He got $500,000 in scholarships offered to him. Not one of them from Texas A&M. Not $1. And that's where he's going in the fall. Can I explain to you how economics works, son? You're going into business school. This is very bad business. All right, you got a family? Include your family in this process. Here's what you do. You sit down with a family meeting, and you write down on the left-hand side what you want, the right-hand side what you're willing to give up. And everybody has to answer it. I want to go to Disney World. You want to go to Disney World, son? Here's what you're going to have to do. I need you to make your bed every day. You're saying if I make my bed every day, we get to go to Disney World? Yes, that's right. Because then your mom doesn't have to do it. And that frees her up to do stuff that I'm currently doing, but I can't spend that time doing that. I need to be working instead. So if I'm mowing the yard, that's not phone calls. That's not interviews. That's not coaching. That's mowing the yard. I don't care how big a yard you got. You can pay somebody a few dollars to get that taken care of. But if you're in a situation where that matters, my wife could mow the yard while I'm doing the phone calls because she doesn't have to make the bed because Junior's making the bed because he wants to go to Disney World. If he says, no, I can't commit to making my bed every day, scratch off Disney World. Be aggressive about it. Wait a second. You said you can't do that. This is life. If you want something, you got to get something, give up something to get it. That's how it works. So you do that, and then as a group, you put together your schedule. And you can have them color it in crayon and make it fun if they're young enough. I don't know that my 17-year-old would appreciate the crayons at this point. But then you put it up on the fridge, and you make sure they know. Right here, that's our time. Right here, that's our time. Right here, here, that's our time. But right here, I got to make phone calls. And if you interrupt me, we can't go to Disney World. They need to know that they're a priority. If they don't know they're a priority, that's when you lose them. But if they know that they're a priority, they get it. They understand. Daddy does work a lot, but he has time for me. I can see it on the fridge. Now, don't let anything interfere with that time, or all of a sudden you're the song Cats in the Cradle. And, I have that song going in my head all the time when my little 12-year-old daughter says, Daddy, you want to see how I just did my makeup? I really don't. I just decided, I learned the other day, I never was a 12-year-old girl. I don't freaking understand them. I just listen. You're so pretty. Okay, key takeaways. Put the most important things in your schedule first. If you learn nothing from this talk, do these 3 takeaways. Number 2, if you mess up, that's okay, but neglect does have a cumulative effect. So if you screwed up today and didn't make your dials like you were supposed to, it's okay. Just don't screw up again tomorrow. Don't keep messing up. Stop it, or I'll bury you alive in a box. R.I.P. Bob Newhart. Get your family involved. If you have a family, you got a wife, a husband, you got kids, whatever the situation is, get them involved in your time management so they know that they're a priority. If I can help you, I'm not kidding about it. I love helping people win. That's my popple. You have my contact information now, and I know how to ignore a call if I can't take it right now because I have a schedule. And if I don't know your number, I won't answer your phone call when I'm with my kids. Promise you that. Okay? Love you guys. Hope that helped.